The cabinet I'm making in this video is part of a larger job, but it's all kind of the same thing, so I thought I'd just go through the process of making one of these wall hung units. So the whole lot is 18mm birch ply, and I started by ripping everything that I could to width. When it comes to cutting a relatively short piece of a full strip of plywood, I find it's much easier at this stage with the saw I've got, just to do it on the drop saw. And then once they're into smaller pieces, I can cut it down further on the bench saw. Once I have my carcass sides cut, I can lay out where the shelves will go. And two of these shelves are going to have LED spotlights, so I need to cut the holes for them. So I need to add a chase into the shelves with the lights just to accommodate the wiring. Then I can start screwing the carcass together. It's pretty straightforward. Tried to leave the plastic bag on these light fittings so they're not going to get covered in stain, but it was just too much bulk going into the hole, so I eventually took that off. Anyway, now I can run the wires and add the second layer of shelf. And with that side routed out for the wiring, I can screw the rest of the carcass together. Then I could start sorting out the wiring, trying as hard as I could to keep the twists and turns out of the wires, but sometimes they just go where they want to go. I'd forgotten about the switch, so needed to add a hole for that now. It's just a little infrared switch, so then I had to route a couple of extra grooves for the wiring for that. This cabinet will hold some stereo equipment, an amplifier and a couple of things like that, so I need to add a couple of holes for wiring. Then I can start putting on the outside skin, so I started with the top and the bottom, and then worked my way around the sides. And then I could drill a final bigger hole through the bottom skin, outside skin. This will be for all the power coming in and all the speaker cables and stuff. And then before I got too far along, I could stain all the inside of the unit. I'm using a water-based stain and varnish mix, which I really like for working with on blonde timbers. And 3 coats of this and it comes up really nice. This is the back panel and a few pieces for the 3 drawers, which this is this final sand, I think, just before the final coat. I had left this divider out so I could actually get into the cabinet and stain this. but as it turned out, I ended up getting drips all over it when I was doing the edges, and I had to kind of restain it anyway, but that's what you get. And so there were 6 screws that were visible on the inside of this unit holding the outside skins on. So I used the FastCap system with the little veneered plugs to go over top of the screw head, and they just stained up pretty seamlessly afterwards. And then I could do the other side the same. So once the staining was done, I could add the back panel. And this is being screwed onto the original carcass, and I'm using a bunch of screws because the whole thing's hanging off this. And I hadn't made a complete fool of myself with the wiring. Not that you can really, it's just plug and play. But it does leave a little bit of cleaning up to do. Then I could throw the 3 drawers together really quick with these soft close systems. So I worked out the spacings of the 3 drawers. I can just cut a packer and sit it on the first drawer and just work my way up. And it's a easy way to get even spaced drawers. And for once I actually referred to the drawings to work out where the little clips on the drawer fronts go. Usually I just kind of hold it up there and do it by measure. But this time I did it from theory, and they just clicked on perfectly, so I guess the engineers know what they're doing. For the French cleats that are going to be holding this thing onto the wall, so onto the back of the unit, I can screw a couple of these with the 45 kind of pointing towards the wall. And given the weight of this unit, I gave it 2 cleats. And this is the piece that will be screwed onto the wall. It's important to not cut it too tight lengthwise, give it a little bit of slop. Okay, we're on site now and installing the first of the French cleats. This is for a smaller unit, which I haven't showed being made, but it's made the same way. So hang this one first. And then we had to try and lift it up there. It was actually a pretty heavy unit, and the owner ended up jumping in here to help us out. Got the lights plugged in. They still work, so that was good. And that's it, a couple of birch ply wall hung units. Thanks for watching, everyone.